Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm back again. This topic is about natural disasters. And I guess we're just going to jump right into it like always. Now, when I talk about natural disasters, you know what I mean. Earthquakes, hurricanes, basically stuff that nature causes that is destructive. And I'm not going to talk about what most other people talk about. I'm going to talk about what a lot of people don't seem to realize. And what they don't seem to realize is that all the stuff that is happening now has happened before, and also stronger. All these earthquakes has happened before, and it has been stronger earthquakes in the past history before most of us were even born. There has been stronger hurricanes before most of us were even born, stronger tornadoes, all that type of stuff. Just because we don't hear about it or whatever doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. There are earthquakes and hurricanes and stuff in uninhibited places like the rainforest and stuff like that, where people don't occupy the land. So it's like, just because we don't see it on the news, it doesn't exist. But when the news says something, then it exists. Like I said, if you don't believe me, go to Google and Google 10 the worst earthquakes or the worst hurricanes or the worst tornadoes. I guarantee you about 80 to 90% that I guarantee you 80-90% of those top 4 or 5 or whatever is gonna be in a period of time where you weren't even born. Even if you're 50, 60, 70 years old right now. So it's like, all the stuff that's happened, it happened before, and it has happened in the places where it is happening. And also for the fact that don't put your trust in all these scientists, because for the fact that they don't know what they're talking about, because what they do is they set a time frame, a huge amount of time frame. They say, in the next 10 to 30 years or something big is gonna, some big earthquake or big hurricane or something might hit. Okay, yeah, anybody could probably say something like that. 10 to 30 years, anything can happen. No, they're not saying in the next 1 or 2 weeks or something like that. No, they say the next 10 to 30 years. Come on now, that's like, you're not pinpointing anything. You're just making it so broad that when it does happen, or if it does happen, you're going to be like, see, I told you. I did not predict it. No, you didn't predict nothing. You just gave it a broader target. You made it a broader target that you can hit. Now, see, and also, like I said, don't trust the scientists on stuff like this, because when what they predict doesn't happen, then they want to say, my calculations were wrong, or want to give excuses why what they said didn't happen, instead of just saying, hey, I was wrong. I don't really know what I'm talking about. Because in all honesty, you can't predict what the weather is gonna do. You can't predict what the earth is gonna do. How many of you people have watched the news and it says it's gonna be sunny outside, then it started raining? How many of you guys saw the news where it said it's gonna be warm outside, but then it was cold? The earth and the weather is not controlled by man, so it's like, we can't predict anything. The earth and the weather and stuff can do whatever it wants to do. If we say that it's gonna go left, it might go right because it wants to go right. We can't control it. But see, Most of you people think that we're more powerful as people than we really are, but we're not. Because I'll tell you like this, even animals can sense something before humans can. So what does that tell you? You know, they're better weather and, you know, like natural disaster detectors than any human or any machine that we have come up with. Because with the machines that we come up with, most of them only, you know, like records after it happens. It's not pre it happens, you know. But then it's also the fact that all these people, when they do have natural disasters or when something destroys their homes, instead of saying, okay, let's move to a place where most of this doesn't happen or doesn't happen that often. No, they want to say, oh, we're just going to rebuild right here in the same spot, you know. And that's stupid. So it could get messed up again. Why are you going to rebuild in the same spot where this happened? So you survived one, but next time you might not survive the next one? Is that what you want? Forget that. I don't care about no small town or whatever, how much memories you have. It's like, if it's a dangerous area for natural disasters or whatever, then I'm moving. That's like all these places that are all these towns that are by lakes and stuff, and you know, where they flood and all this stuff. Why would you want to rebuild your town back where the lakes are? If it's a possibility that it's gonna flood again. And don't act like it would never happen. You know what I'm saying? Because anything is possible. Anything is possible. There's more likely and less likely, but it's not impossible. You know, and like I said, none of this stuff have been more dangerous or whatever. You guys focus on what the news and stuff says. Oh, it's the biggest this and that in history, and oh, it's just historic proportions. No, none of these things that have happened were historic proportions. Trust me, I looked it up, I researched it, and you could too. Trust me, go Google it. If you think about it, if you look at stuff, the one in Haiti, the one in Japan, all that stuff, not the biggest earthquakes in the world ever. They're not. The Hurricane Katrina and all that stuff, and all, you know, just the tornadoes that ripped up the trailer parks and all that stuff like that, not the biggest. Not the most strongest, not the most destructive. Hasn't killed the most people. So you're letting all this stuff scare you because you're not informed yourself. You're letting basically the teacher, which is the news, tell you something, and you want to go on and believe it. So what they do is they scare you, saying, "Oh, everything's getting worse now. The weather's getting worse. The storms are getting worse, and they're getting more close together and everything like that." No. Do you know how many earthquakes we have in a year? Most of them we can't feel on Earth, on the surface of the Earth, but there's like maybe like 1,000 or some earthquakes that happen a year. Most of them are underground that we can't feel inside the Earth's crust, but like about like 1,000 or something. I don't know. It's like a big number, but that's amazing if you think about it, because most people don't know about that stuff. But then, like I said, most of the destruction that comes from natural disasters is the fact that where they hit, houses and places aren't well built. You know, they're not built up to code to handle a type of disaster like that. So that's why you get casualties. That's why you get stuff getting broken and houses being torn apart and stuff like that, because they weren't built to code in the first place. But if you have a place that is built to code and it is kind of ready for stuff like that, there wouldn't be as much destruction as there was in the less, prepared places. So, like I said, all these natural disasters, stop believing what other people are saying. Research it yourself and just think, like, just because just because people now have devices that can record the strength of a storm or a natural disaster, doesn't mean that those are the first storms that ever happened in history. Because what about storms and stuff that were before man even created devices to record them? You think there weren't earthquakes, there weren't hurricanes, there weren't tornadoes and stuff before man created a device to record them? If you think there wasn't, then that's ridiculous, because there have probably always been earthquakes, there's always been tornadoes, always been hurricanes, always been blizzards, always been volcano eruptions, always been all type of stuff. I'm trying to tell you. So stop panicking about a lot of stuff, and don't let them scare you so much that you think that, oh, here comes a big one. Because, like I said, they never know who are them to predict that a big one is coming. How do they know that a big one coming? What if it's not gonna come? Like I said, you can't control what the Earth's gonna do. What if the Earth decides not to make a big one? You know, it's kind of like saying, have you ever ate something that kind of messed up your stomach a little bit, and it seemed like you were about to let out a big burp, and you felt it building up, and next thing you know, no burp. See, how do we know that's what the Earth might do about certain things? It could feel like it's about to let out a burp, but then next you know, nothing. I tell you when to be more worried is when there's a long period of time, like maybe a year, where nothing happens, no natural disaster happens. That would be more weird. I'll be more worried about that than stuff happening. Tell you the truth, because, like they say, it's always quiet before the storm. So if there is a long period of quiet and silence and non-activity on Earth about storms and stuff, then I'll be worried, because that means something is gonna happen. But since stuff is happening where it has happened, and it's not as big, and it happens as often as it always has, then it's normal. What, are y'all brand new to this Earth or something? Have you not lived on Earth your whole life or whatever? Have you lived in another planet? Because how is this different from what it has been? I'm just saying, just think about it. Let that simmer in your head for a little bit. Well, alright, that's enough for me on this topic. Like I said, tune in next time. Got another new topic for y'all. Alright.